Party people in the place to be. What up, what up, what up? Here I am calling, or not calling, but tapping in from my midway point of my walk. Tapping in from the midway point of my walk. Monday morning walk. Hope everybody had a great weekend. When you come in, please hit the like button. You know, it's like getting on the metro or getting on the train. It's your ticket into this motivational morning message. Everybody just jump in, hit that like button. That's the first thing you do. First thing you do is like scanning your card, getting on the train. We on the Amtrak. The psycho-spiritual Amtrak. What up, what up, what up? I hope everybody is well. Hope everybody had a great weekend. What up, what up, what up, what up? Everybody who was able to be blessed enough to come in here, to wake up, tap in. Hope everybody is good. You know those likes get us in the algorithm. Oh, here we go. What up, Johnny Newton? Come in, let's do this city roll call. Everybody come in, hit the like button, tell me what city you coming in from. Johnny Newton, where you from? What up, much respect, my brother checking in from VA. Hey man, how do I pronounce that? Kahi all day? I don't know. Help me pronounce that. Come on, y'all. Let's get those likes going before we get into this message. I'm at the midpoint of my walk, of my morning walk. A few miles in at this point. And I do this. This is my calisthenics. I do this before I get into the gym. Hyphen. Got you. That's it. All right. Got you. Got you. April D. Peace family. Good morning. Walking and talking. I love this for you. Hey, man. I can't let this world kill me by my own hand. I can't let this world destroy me by my own heart, by my own mind. I can't do that. Dre, Grand Rising. Houston in the building. Everybody rush to that like button. Everybody rush to it like it's the free cheese line. Like it's the EBT line, because guess what? Like it's the SNAP line, because guess what? You see what's happening. You see what's happening in the world right now. Rush to that like button. Toledo, Ohio in the building. So, how you doing? Last week, man, I was able to power through all of the shows last week because the weekend before, I was hella sick. Now, there's still some remnants of it. I'm getting over it. But I'm 100% better than I was last week. Last week I was toe up. Nick Love, blessings to you all. What up, what up, what up? 10 people still haven't hit that like button. Come on now. Let's hit that like button before I get into this message. I have a meaningful message for you. And typically I don't think about these messages. I just wait until I get on live, and then as I'm talking, as I'm doing the intro, telling people, hey, you know, hit the like button and all that, I get a download. And the download that just came was divine timing and control are polar opposites. That was the download. Divine timing and your desire to control or to maneuver and navigate towards a particular outcome are polar opposites. Divine timing and intentionality. You know, because you hear people say this, oh, I'm being intentional, I'm being intentional. Polar opposites. See, people will create whatever linguistic or ideological construct they can in order to maintain control. Those who are insecure, those who have been hurt, those who have not fully, jumped in and leaned into their healing will use control in any scenario in their life. See, we villainize the manipulator, but the manipulator is a survivor of their childhood. We don't want to villainize. That's just the coping mechanism. They learned, they were conditioned into performing in based on their childhood. So like I said, we villainize those people. So you hear those talking points. Oh, divine timing, but divine timing is really surrender. And the insecure, that's the one thing they can't do is surrender. Do you understand? Those who are insecure cannot surrender. Come on. All right? They must control. If they don't have control, they feel like free fall. That's why I want to make that distinction between divine timing. If in fact divine timing exists, then the clock and the time, you have no say or power over it, because the timing is coming from the divine. It's coming from a higher level of consciousness, correct? See, we couch our fears in divine words. Right? Just say what it is. It's control. Control makes you safe. I've had to deal with that. What up, April D? Po Boy Films. What up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing? Still 18 likes out of 39 people. City of Trees, you already know what it is. 916 Sacramento, California. What up, Sacktown? The Bay Area and back down. Give me love. It's the whole journey. It's already been written. Relax and be. What up, niece? But see, being is accepting. People don't understand. Being is non-resistance. Control is a type of resistance. What, Zoe? What does a dam do for a river? It restricts its flow. The restriction is resistance. What do the banks along a river do? They control the current of the river. But this relationship, the river and the bank relationship, is more of a symbiotic relationship, because the flow of the current also carves the bank. I don't want to walk in this water. Sprinklers. Yeah. What up, Tina Thomas? Exactly. Banks, current, currency. Exactly. So I was talking about control. When we're insecure in relationships, we seek control. It's not necessarily a bad thing to seek control, but you have to be aware that you are controlling. Being is about presence, right? We're starting to understand through the Voice of Reason show. If you're in survival mode, you're in a doing mode, a maintenance mode. You're trying to maintain the ideological scaffolding that you have erected that gives you some type of control. What are tools and mechanisms of control? Lying is a tool of control. I'm guilty, right? Gaslighting, tool of control. Aggression, violence, tool of control. Even emotional dysregulation can be used as a tool of control. So again, we learn this because we were raised in an insecure environment. And by being raised in an insecure environment, we take the coping mechanisms or the tools of manipulation to try to get what we want into our adult relationships. Then we hide those tools using spiritual dialect or spiritual language. You know, I'm being intentional. Being intentional is not the same as being controlling. However, people try to couch their controlling ways in those terms, with the use of those terms. I'm being intentional. Or I need things to be like this, or that's going to tell me that you're not this type of person. Are you following? The worst thing that could happen is that we put dialogue to the higher spiritual principles, because then the lower levels of consciousness can then turn and weaponize the dialogue. Once it becomes words, it becomes dual. Once it becomes dual, how it is originally represented can be flipped to represent the other side. This is why you hear Christians say things like the devil knows the Bible better than most Christians. So be careful, right? The devil can preach better than most preachers. You've heard that, right? Once a deep spiritual concept gets the correct languaging, it can be used for lower levels of consciousness, right? You see that in the church when they talk about prosperity teaching and how sometimes some preachers have taken some of the translations of the scripture a little too literal and a little too far, and they've made it to mean what they want it to mean in order to push a particular type of agenda. This happens psychologically, psycho-spiritually as well in intimate relationships, right? A wound can employ the use of spiritual languaging in order to come across as pious, in order to come across as healed. This is what they call the spiritual narcissist, right? They sound healed and they sound confident in that healing. Here's trick number one. Understand, no one is healed, ED. There is no past tense on your healing. That's number one. So the moment you hear somebody yelling from the rooftop, yelling from the mountaintop, I've healed all my issues, you know right there, okay, this is what we dealing with, right? This is what we dealing with. There is no healed. There is the process of healing. And I like the way David Baum puts it in his Wholeness and Implicate Order book. He has the implicate order and the explicate order. The explicate, of course, is the outer. The implicate, of course, is the inner. He was one of the original guys to talk about the holographic universe or the holographic simulation before they were even talking about it. He called it the hollow movement. And he said there's always an outer and inner enfoldment of the implicate order as well as the explicate order. And what's happening on the inside is manifesting on the outside and then resubmitting itself to the inside, the implicate and the explicate order. And he said that it follows what is known or what he termed as the hollow movement. Outer and inner. But that's the same as above, so below, as above. Do you understand? Again, early childhood trauma. Some people call it ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Some folks call it CPTSD. Some people, you could just say some people came from a dysfunctional family. Not everybody is wounded and broken into the same degree. The woundedness, the traumatic experiences are on the trauma. Some people are on the lighter end of the trauma, or the less adverse end of trauma. But that still doesn't mean they don't have anything to work on, or they don't have some issues that need to be addressed and dealt with. Where are these issues addressed and dealt with? They're addressed and dealt with in intimate relationships. That's where they are addressed and dealt with, right? According to attachment theory, you take your attachment style, whether it be secure or insecure, into your adult relationships. According to Carl Jung, what did he say? The subconscious is this repository, is this container, right, of all the stuff you suppress and repress, right? Id, ego, superego. Superego is your ideal self. Id is your reptilian, this is what I want and I want it right now. The ego is the referee in between the two. The id and the superego, subconscious, submerged. Attachment theory says, hey, whatever attachment style, whether secure or insecure, you take into your adult relationships for reckoning. Carl Jung said, your subconscious is trying to surface to the conscious so that it could be reconciled through conflict. Conflict is relational. You can't have conflict unless you have two opposing sides. It's interesting that the insecure attachment styles are attracted to each other. Those are the opposing sides. The psycho-spiritual war that must take place in order for resolution. Does any of this babble make sense? What's up, good brother? All right. Does any of this make sense? I need the feedback. I'm just talking. Nobody's saying anything. Does it make sense? Are you following? Do you understand the difference that I'm trying to point out, the distinction that I'm trying to point out between divine timing and controlling? All right. Y'all know how I am. I want to, let me see, I'm going to go a different way today because I'm early. Let's not get hit by the school bus. Mrs. Frizzle driving the school bus. Let's not get hit. A lot of concepts, right? A lot of concepts are being discussed here. You can't be present if you have an unhealed wound making decisions for you in your love life. Presence has no residue from the past and no hope for the future. That's what present, to be present, means that. Everybody can be slick and funny with their little quotes. You know, the present is a gift. Everybody, yeah, you can say that, but peel the layers back. To be present means the past nor the future exists. You know you fearful if you hold tight because you don't want to lose something you have. Listen, you know you're insecure if you're holding tight to something that you are afraid to lose. That means you are projecting past the present into the future. The eventual day that the other shoe might drop. Maybe I will discover that they're cheating on me. Maybe they will die. maybe something terrible would happen. That's the day I fear. As long as fear is in the picture, you can't love nobody. As long as there is a fear to look within yourself, you can't love you. And if you can't love you, you can't love them. You won't love them. You'll never love them. You'll be attached to them. You'll be addicted to them. I don't want to hear the hard to do stuff. When you say something is hard to do, it can't be done. Scientists understand the vector, the crossing of vector. Once you cross a vector, everybody thinks they can do something. If a vector has never been collapsed or crossed, people tend to think it can't be done, right? The 4-minute mile was believed, right? Before somebody ran the 4-minute mile, it was believed it's impossible for humans to run a mile in a sub 4 minutes, in under 4 minutes. It was believed we can't run faster than that. And then one fool did it, and then everybody was like, all right, then, if he could do it. So I don't want to hear the hard to do. We give life and agency to the difficulty of things as opposed to embracing and pathologizing difficulty. Let's just say, come on. Difficulty is pedagogy. It's a tool. It's an instruction. We villainize difficulty. No, embrace difficulty. Bruce Lee said it himself. Instead of praying for an easy life, right? He was like, be thankful for the difficult one you got. Like, we got to stop that. But it's hard to do. That is a quiet submission to the difficulty of self-reflection. I paraphrase that Bruce Lee quote. Somebody find it and tell me exactly what he said about the hard life. Do you understand what I'm saying? How many of you been in a conversation? Listen, I'm a liken, and I'm not jumping on your head, Free Truth. I got nothing but respect for you, but when you guys make comments, it actually opens up other doors and downloads or whatever. So you say that's hard to do. You have to loose your mind. You're 100% right. So I'm going to liken that to something else. Like, it's hard to do. You know what else people do that is likened to that thought process? How many times you've been talking to somebody and it get deep, and then their natural proclivity or inclination is to say, why everything got to be so deep? Everything ain't got to be that deep. See, we live in a superficial society that is anti-intellectual. We live in a society that reads at a 4th grade level. So it makes sense for them to say, right? It makes sense for them to say, why I got to be so deep? Right? It ain't even got to be that deep. I was just asking like the basic stuff because, everybody defends the level of consciousness that they're on because they believe they can't raise higher. Why do they believe they can't raise higher? Because they can't touch and feel higher. So innately, they believe higher don't exist. And they'll say, where I am is reality. You see what I'm saying? This is reality. I'm talking about the real. All that other stuff you talking about, all that deep stuff, it ain't even got to be all that. Do you see what I'm saying? Conditioned to find comfort and security. There's the Bruce Lee quote. Thank you, C. Irving. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Come on. We got to stop empowering the low levels of consciousness. We want all that it is to be a fractal of God. Hear what I just said. We want all that it is to be a fractal of God. But we don't want to put the work in to develop that conscious relationship. Do you know how easy it is for people to say, I'm in a relationship with God? Me and God, our relationship, that make me spiritual. Come on, man. If you really had a relationship with God, you'd know, without a shadow of a doubt, not by what God does, but who God is through you. The identifications of you would melt away. The ego of you would melt away. How you have a deep relationship with God and you still have a sense of you. Your ego is still making decisions. Your ego still gets bruised. Oh, well, we all works in progress. Then say your relationship with God is on a spectrum. And if you're being honest, your relationship with God is on the low end of the spectrum. If you're on the higher end of the spectrum, no ego, the dissolution of your ego. The wound has no say in your life. How you've been hurt, how you've been wounded, how you've been victimized. None of that stuff even exists anymore. Back to presence. You are present. There's no worry about the future loss of things. There's no desire to control. There's no desire to manipulate. You are purely, listen to the terminology, purely in the moment. You are present. And that's a difficult thing to achieve, but possible. You understand? But possible. And not only possible, it's part of your purpose for living. You thought you were put here just to enjoy Netflix and your favorite shows and oh, let me take a picture of my plate of food. How does one get to that point? We need a playbook. The playbook has always existed. When we look at psychologists, modern day psychology was popularized by whom? Freud. He wasn't even a psychologist. His student, Carl Jung, who was a psychologist, right, took a lot of the ideas and the therapy talk that Freud was big on and actually made them clinical. Right? So, where did they get all their ideas from? Where did Freud and all them get? Man, they were studying the ancient mysticism of the Far East. And anything that came out of the Far East, we know, according to cultural anthropology, had its origins and roots in Africa. Anything that came out of Europe, we know came out of ancient Kemet in Africa. And according to the Sanusi, I'm answering your question, young lady. According to the Sanusi, who passed a few years ago, Credo Mutwa, out of South Africa, the Sangoma, what he said was, Egypt is our little baby brother. He talking about Africa. He said everything came from the interior and South Africa. And every belief system in Africa is the same belief system. It's just that the tribes had different dialects and languages. And Egypt is the baby. They say, what are you talking about, Zoe? White folk been taking the ancient knowledge, what the Europeans call gnosis, Gnostics. That's why when they talk about the Gnostic Bible, the Nag Hammadi, that was found in the Qumran caves in the 40s, that revealed the presence of a secret society that Jesus was a part of called the Essene. Do you see? Coughing it up, sorry. But the point that I'm making is, what has now become Western psychology was born out of Eastern mysticism. Carl Jung got individuation, which means becoming a whole self, a whole person merging your shadow with your mask, which is your performance. It's like a mannequin. You project out, this is who I really am, but internally you're a disheveled mess who seeks control as opposed to presence. Presence means you can sit in a difficult moment and not judge it for being difficult. You can sit there without trying to change it. Right? But the concept of individuation came out of what? Prayer is supposed to take you to the doorstep of God. How? West Africa, Ori. Your Ori connects you to Oludumare. Your Ori is your head. That's why they say your Ori is the most powerful Orisha. All the Orisha are subservient to your Ori because your Ori is the direct pipeline to Oludumare. Individuation. Becoming a whole self. This society taught you, look for your better half. When your original philosophy said, you are whole. Listen. This society said you are fragmented and you need your better half. You need your soulmate. Do you see? When you are half, relationship becomes a school. When you are broken and fragmented, you are conditioned to manipulate and control, right? Seek to manipulate and to get control so you can get what you didn't get in childhood. Because your parents set the template for who you're going to be in a relationship, secure or insecure. The Westerners, all they did was take the ancient Eastern concepts of self-actualization, self-realization, and they only take the Asian version of it, which is an Arabic word, Asia, which just means east. Well, who went east first with the philosophy? The African. The African went east first and took his belief systems everywhere. This is why if you look up the works of Runoko Rashidi, you'll see Runoko Rashidi talking about the ancient African presence in Asia. The ancient African presence in the early Americas. The ancient African presence in Europe. You see? You think we didn't take our philosophy there too? Who was the first to conceptualize God? Philosophy, psychology, spirituality. It was the African. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the sister asked, how do you get to that point? Start to research what the Westerner recontextualized as psychology. If you look at psychology and psychiatry, in much the same way as anthropology was the study of humans, but it was really used to put it this way. If white supremacy was a religion, anthropology and its subsequent anthropologists, and I'm talking about early anthropologists, before cultural relativism, would be their prophet, right? Anthropologists would be the prophets of white supremacy because they gave moral justification and scientific justification for the subjugation of the world. That's what anthropologists did. You go back and you look at that early history of anthropology, you'll see. But the same can be said of psychiatrists. We had Dr. Mark Goulston, MD, on our show, and he talked about the horrific origins of psychiatry and psychology. Right? But what are you saying, Zoe? What I'm saying is, although they have horrible racist origins, they still extrapolated ancient truths from ancient cultures and societies. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? So his sister's asking me, how do I go back? Study moksha. The Hindu moksha. Right? Study moksha. M-O-K-S-H-A. Moksha. Find out what the word means. Look up the word nirvana. What does it mean? The annihilation and the burning out of the ego. What is the ego but the mask? Carl Jung took all, Jung, J-U-N-G, he took all that. The burning of the ego, the dissolution, the deconstruction of the ego. If your wound created an ego, you take insecurity into your relationships for resolution. Do you understand? Insecurity, protection of the mask, right? You don't know that relationship is the spiritual lighthouse for you to see that you're a manipulator. We're not looking at it as a bad thing, right? We're not. Cremation of care, exactly. It absolutely is. Hinduism, Buddhism, Shinto, Taoism. You have to dissolve the ego. Ego is identity, self. Carl Jung called it self with a small s. Dr. David R. Hawkins took that as well. The large S is attributed to what the West African initially called your Ori, which is why they say your Ori is the most powerful Orisha. And all Orisha are, say, what is Orisha? The forces of nature. What did I just say? Africa all got the same belief system. The Orisha is equivalent to the Netaru. What are the Netaru? Look up their names. They represent elements. Earth, water, fire, air. Shu, Geb, Tefnut. They represent. Orisha, right? Oshun, the river. Yemeya, oceans. Come on. Same thing. The Sanusi said, okay, Africa got the same beliefs. And Africa fed Europe philosophically. You understand? Fed the world. Sister said, what do we do to get back to this point? Self-inquiry. Right? Meditation. It's not a doing, it's a being. When you finish reading all this stuff, you're going to come to the understanding. Don't worry, it's coming up. Right? You're going to understand after you finish reading all these spiritual systems, right? You're going to understand it is a being. It's not a doing. We've been conditioned to think that you can systematize and linearize spirituality, but you can't. Spirituality, there's no system. You're going to understand that. That's what Krishnamurti was teaching when he explained truth is a pathless land. He said there's no system. There's no organization to it. We took organization, which makes sense for society, for government, right? For business. And we say, oh, it applies to spirituality. No, it does not. You understand? There's no system for spirituality. You're going to understand that. This is answering the sister's question in detail. What do we do to get to that point? We have to relearn the art of being. Does that make sense? Do y'all hear me on that? Do y'all understand what I mean by that? When you are being, you are present. Your relationships struggle because they lack presence. If you're in a state of hypervigilance, you're in a state of doing and maintaining so you don't lose anything. Do you see the? I have a fear that I'm going to lose this person. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody is connecting the dots. Everybody's saying this is what you should do. That's because they don't understand the spiritual nature of relationships. Your relationships reveal the work you have and haven't done. Your relationships reveal to you everything you do to you. Uh-oh. 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 Every time you let yourself slide on a psycho-spiritual task, your relationships play it back to you. And you got a double standard. You will let you slide, but you won't let your partner slide for doing the same thing you do to you. Come on! Uh-oh. You lie to you, but your partner can't. You can't tolerate a liar, but you lie to you. You manipulate other people, but you can't tolerate being manipulated by others. You played me. You played in my face. But you play in your spirit's face every day by not doing what is necessary to evolve past your wounds. Every day you let your wounds rule and you don't do this internal, you don't execute an internal coup. What you want? Huh? Hey, MJ Fada, thank you. Thank you. I extended this talk and I extended my walk. But do you guys understand what I'm saying? Let's do it like school. Repeat it back. What was I saying? What up, Jeff Breezy? What up, Jeff Breezy? Jeff Breezy. What did I say, y'all? Repeat it back to me. Whew, this walk is something. I'm at looks like 4.5. I think I called y'all at the 2 mile mark. What did I say, y'all? For those who have been rocking with me on this morning meaningful meditation message, what did I say? That's just to ask the key question. What do we do? I gave a historical, philosophical, anthropological, and psychological response. Be present, stop doing, and be in a state of being. Come on. The resistance is in the preparation to do something instead of simply being what results from truth in the moment. Come on. This is what I call being of service to another. Come on. You said what we see wrong in relationship mirrors us. Come on. Relationship is your psycho-spiritual journey to beings. Come on. Hey, Zoe, how refreshing an intelligent man. Don't nobody want an intelligent man because they think an intelligent man is controlling. Real manhood is not about control. It's about wisdom. See, if you've been lying to yourself about anything, about how good a person you are, right? Right? And about how well you're doing internally. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm over it, right? If you've been doing that, if you're in the presence of a really wise man, their presence is going to irritate the lie you told yourself. See, and that is recontextualized that he's controlling. How many times have you lied to somebody because you knew they wanted better for you than you wanted for yourself? Jeez. I can't even go around that person because he's going to start asking questions. They gonna, ooh, my niece called it emotional numbing. And you know that person don't miss nothing. They going to see everything. And there are women like that too that men are afraid to even approach. You understand? Nah, she ain't even on that. I can't even talk to her. Yeah, because you know you're going to get revealed. You know you're going to get revealed. All right. Control is about a person doing, not a person being. Oh, y'all was listening today. Y'all was listening today. I love y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Monday message. How you doing? All right. I understood the assignment. I know. I love y'all, man. I love my people, man. Listen, Zoe Morning Show gonna be wild. We going in on a lot of the current events that are happening, but I got special guests that will be zooming in and we'll be talking about how people are taking advantage of the community by charging sky high rates for rituals, Ifa, people not even initiating, not even real, practitioners, charging people tens of thousands of dollars, and then got the nerve to talk mess about Christianity and their misappropriation of the tithes. We gonna talk about all that, And I got a secret topic, oh my God, that's coming in the Zoe Morning Show. Y'all just can't miss, because it's in light of everything that's going on. It's in light of everything that's going on. So please, 11 a.m. today, wherever you are on the East Coast. How you doing, brother? All right. If you're on the East Coast, that will be 2 p.m. your time. I'm going live, the Zoe Morning Show. It'll be 11 a.m. over here. Please tap in. I ain't got nothing but love for y'all. I appreciate y'all. Now I got to go start my workout. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love. Deuces.